Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're stepping away from the usual headlines. We're going somewhere, I think, much more personal. We're looking at a single life, a really complex one, all pieced together from a stack of genealogical records.
Right.
The focus of our deep dive is one woman, Constance May Hughes, or Connie, as her family knew her.
And these records, they're not just a few dates. We have a timeline that spans over 77 years.
Exactly. It covers births, marriages, deaths, and it maps out 4 very different relationships. So our mission today, for you listening, is to really untangle that.
To follow the thread.
Yes, we're going to trace Connie's life, track the journeys of her 8 children, and look at this sort of tension between her deep Yorkshire roots and where her family ended up.
And let's lock in that number from the start. It's really important. The sources confirm a total of 8 children.
8 children.
From 4 separate relationships. So, this isn't some static, simple family tree. It's dynamic. It's constantly changing.
Okay, so let's dig in. Where do we begin? The timeline starts in one very specific place.
It does. We are firmly in Yorkshire. Constance May Hughes was born September 25th, 1913, in a place called Ulrome.
Ulrome, Yorkshire. Her parents were Henry Milner Hughes and Ethel Mortal. So right away, the foundation is set, is pure Yorkshire.
And that's the stage for her first major relationship. She marries a man named George Smith.
Also local.
Oh, very much so. He was born just down the coast in Bridlington, Yorkshire, back in 1909. They got married there in Bridlington in April of 1935.
So this whole first chapter feels very geographically concentrated.
Yeah.
Everyone's from the same small area on the coast.
It is, but, and this is a big but, there's an anomaly right away.
Okay.
The records show that George Smith, her first husband, didn't die in Yorkshire. He passed away in April 1977.
Where?
In Barrow-in-Furness, Cumbria.
Wow. Okay, so that's a significant jump. That's from the East Coast, the North Seaside, clear across the country to the Northwest.
It's a huge piece of foreshadowing, you could say, because even though his life ends over in Cumbria, their life together as parents was intensely focused back in Bridlington.
All right, this is where the first 3 children were born.
Exactly, and all in quick succession.
We have Brian Ronald Smith, born May 10th, 1937. Then Marlene Smith, July 1st, 1938.
And just over a year later, Pauline Smith, September 18th, 1939.
So 3 kids in just over 2 years, all born in Bridlington, right on the brink of World War II. It's a very stable picture in a world that's about to become anything but.
It really is. And that stability, or at least the meticulous record of it, it seems to end right there, around 1939. And this is where we hit what I call a critical gap in the story.
A gap.
Yeah. The next formally documented partner doesn't show up until the 1950s. We have this whole period in the 1940s.
The war years. And this is where it gets really fascinating because the family doesn't stop growing. The records list 3 more children born during this time, but they're listed under a very specific heading, which is Children of Constance May Hughes and Unknown.
And we have to be really clear about what that means.
Yes, absolutely. For you listening, this is a constraint of our source material. The family sheets we're using explicitly state the father's identity for these next 3 children is unknown.
The information, for whatever reason, is just not in these specific records at this time.
But the children absolutely are. Their births are documented. Connie is still building her family even in this period of uncertainty.
And what's amazing to me is that even with this huge question mark over the father's identity, the geographical anchor it holds...
They're still born in Bridlington.
All 3 of them, right there in Bridlington. It's like no matter what else was happening in her personal life or in the world, that was her fixed point.
So who are these 3 children from the 1940s?
Okay, so first there's Maurice Craig Smith, born July 11th, 1941.
And the records show he died fairly young.
He did, sadly. He passed away in May 1987 at just 45 years old.
Okay.
Next is Alan Craig Smith, born January 6, 1943. And then finally, Malcolm Lewis Smith, born May 27, 1946.
And Malcolm, like his brother Maurice, also has a death record listed.
Yes, and it ties him right back to his birthplace. He died in Bridlington Hospital in April of 2010.
So after this undocumented period, we move into the 1950s. And the story takes another sharp turn. This time, it goes international.
It really does. This is where we meet Henning Peter Nielsen Nordman. He's also known as Per.
Now, this part of the source material is really specific. It lists Henning's status in a way that, well, it tells its own story.
It does. It lists him as single.
Single, not as a spouse, not as a husband, but he is clearly documented as the father of Connie's next child.
And that's a critical distinction to make. It shows that whoever compiled these records was tracking biological fatherhood, not just legal marriage certificates. They were focused on the reality of the family.
And Henning's origins completely break that Yorkshire mold we've been talking about.
Completely. He was born March 25, 1916 in Hjoring, Denmark.
Denmark. And he eventually died there as well in 1986.
Yes. So we have this Danish connection, a man from clear across the North Sea. But, and you can probably guess where this is going.
The child is born in Yorkshire.
Of course. Their son, Paul Anthony Smith, was born March 18, 1951, in a place called Carnaby.
Which is basically right next to Bridlington.
It's the same area. So again, the father is from Scandinavia, but the birth is registered just a few miles from where Connie herself was born. That gravitational pull is just incredible.
And this pattern continues right into the final documented relationship with her spouse, John Dayton.
Right back to familiar ground.
Yeah. John Dayton, born November 29, 1923.
Yeah.
Right there in Bridlington. And he passed away there in January 1999.
It's like the story comes full circle, geographically speaking.
And they have one child together, the 8th and final child on our list.
That's right. Angela Mary Dayton. Born November 26, 1956. And of course, born in Bridlington.
So you have a life, a reproductive life, that spans almost 20 years, constantly circling back to this one coastal town as the home base. It's really something.
It is. So we've matched Connie's life, these 4 relationships, 8 children, but the story really expands when you start to look at what those children did, where they went.
Right, because if the mother was the anchor, the next generation were the ship setting sail. The records show a huge geographical spread.
A very clear, very expansive spread.
Okay, let's trace some of them. What about the eldest, Brian Ronald Smith?
Brian is the one who solidifies that northwest connection we saw hinted at with his father's death. He gets married in Barrow-in-Furness, Cumbria.
The same town.
The very same area. That's in 1960. He remarries a few years later in Lancashire, and he dies in Barrow in 2013. So his entire adult life seems to be rooted far away from Bridlington.
So he made that coastal shift permanent. What about his sister, Marlene?
Marlene heads south. She marries Ronald Frederick Ross in July 1960 in Nottingham.
These Midlands.
Yep. And she lives a very long life, passing away in Nottingham just recently in 2023. So she established a whole new family anchor point down there.
And Pauline, the 3rd child.
Pauline also heads west, like her older brother. She marries Stanley D. Ashton in 1965 in Darwin, Lancashire. So right away, you see 3 of the kids branching out deep into Lancashire or down into the Midlands.
It's a real diaspora from Yorkshire.
It is. And then you have someone like Paul Anthony Smith, the son with the Danish father. His story is more complex.
He's the one who married in London, right?
That's right. Married in Hounslow in 1970. But then, just 5 years later, they divorce. And where is the paperwork filed?
Let me guess. Bridlington.
Back in Bridlington. It's like that magnetic pull was always there, drawing them back, even if it was just to, formalize the end of something.
So some left for good, others were pulled back. What about the children from that middle period, the ones with the unknown father?
They seem to have stayed much closer to home. Maurice Craig Smith married in Buckrose, which is right there in the Yorkshire East Riding area. Alan Craig Smith had 2 marriages. Both took place in Bridlington.
And the youngest, Angela Mary Dayton.
Angela is the contrast to her older siblings. She represents the line that stayed. 2 marriages, one in 1975, one in 1984. Both ceremonies happened locally in Bridlington.
So she's the one who really anchors the family legacy back where it all began.
I think that's a perfect way to put it. So we've traced the life of Constance, or Connie, Hughes, from 1913 to 1991. It's a life defined by 4 distinct relationships, 8 children, and this incredible geographical story.
Rooted in one place, Bridlington, while the next generation just scattered to Cumbria, Nottingham, Lancashire, London.
It's a textbook example of family migration over a single generation.
So what does this all mean for you when you're looking at your own family tree? I think it shows that genealogy isn't just about collecting dates on a chart.
No, it's a narrative.
It's a narrative of movement, of evolution. This data shows how dramatically a family can change in one lifetime through marriages, partnerships, and these undocumented relationships, all centered on one place, only for the children to immediately look outward.
And that brings me to a final thought for you to take away, something to really mull over.
Okay.
Despite this wealth of detail we have, all these specific dates, locations, marriages, the simple fact that 3 of her 8 children have an unknown father it's profound. It proves that even the most detailed, meticulously kept records that span nearly 80 years, can have these huge, perhaps unsolvable gaps right at their very heart. So the question is, What other stories, what other missing pieces might lie just outside the borders of a record like this, waiting for context that may never, ever arrive?